He dumped me because I put on weight.
A fat woman like me can't climb.
Wow. Do big girls become leftover women? And why?
The fluffy girls, them not sexy too.
Is it because a lot of men don't like a bigger chick? Can't handle, as some women will say, I can't handle a big girl.
You're not a real man?
Yeah. I mean, interesting.
Spicy.
But before we get into why some big girls become leftover women, I hope you're focused and on your square.
Here.
Indeed, drink up, smoke up. Okay. And of course, like and subscribe to my channel. The content is nourishing. It's filling, like a big girl eating a 12-piece chicken wing box.
Crispy.
It's crispy. Like and subscribe. Okay, seriously. But is it wrong for men to have standards? To have a choice? Is it wrong for a man to leave a woman who has become too big?
Oh my God.
Who has, probably, let's just say she's become far more of a woman than you expected her to be.
Big backyards, fences, hedges.
Hi, I'll start off by saying I'm a size 18 and obviously overweight. In April, I met this guy through a work event. We hit it off and he took my number. A few weeks we texted and called and he asked me on a date. He was my type, tall, Nigerian, muscular, educated, funny. He got a brother.
So this man fit all of her standards. He fit all of her standards.
Love me. Pick me.
Okay.
And all through the summer, we were an item.
Oh.
Reader, he dumped me. Oh, I think she means later. Yeah, he dumped me. Last week, in fact. According to him, we were no longer compatible in long term and he wouldn't say anymore.
Wow.
I was incredibly upset as I thought everything was going well and I had no complaints from my end. I messaged his sister asking if she knew why. Mistake, no one do this. And she said it was because of my size.
Damn.
Now, I thought she was chatting shit, so I called him and I asked him to honestly tell me why he dumped me.
Yeah.
And he said he couldn't see me as part of his life, as in taking me to work events and parties because he would feel embarrassed.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, damn.
Embarrassed.
You're embarrassing me.
Wow. I'm laughing out of shock. So this man felt embarrassed to take his woman to work events, parties, functions, just basically take her out in public because
Embarrassed.
she's a big chick. She's a big girl. Now let's add a bit of balance. He met her. She was big when he met her.
Cushion for the pushing.
Okay, so he met her big, but the point I want to use for this one is how a lot of women can fall off and then put on a lot of pounds and then no longer be seen as she once was. Now, there are various reasons why this happens. I'm not saying, just some fat chicks walking around. No, I'm not saying that. No, that's wrong. I'm just making a point that for some women, not all, they do have a lot more options when they're smaller. But then over time, sometimes, with time, they may put on a bit extra pounds and then the options are not really as broad as they once were. I mean, they're not as broad as their back, but I mean, seriously. So the point I'm saying is, I do believe some women do become leftover women because they put on weight, perhaps a bit too much weight. And even if it's not her fault, I mean, it's a reality and fact of life. But this woman here is dealing with it firsthand.
I don't know what to say. He's really ruined my sense of self and my self-confidence. I have retreated into my home and don't socialize anymore. I don't understand. It's not as if we met online and I catfished him with angles. We met in real life. He knew what I looked like. He seemed to enjoy our sex life and he didn't seem to be turned off by me. Why did he pursue me if I wasn't compatible? Here's what I'm just going to say something.
Some man was enjoying the drawers as well. He was enjoying them big drawers.
The fabric, the embroidery, the metalwork.
There's no problem there. But he didn't want to be seen in public with her. Interesting.
That's a huge bitch.
Some dudes, they'll visit a big chick late at night, wouldn't they? Why?
As a curvy woman as well. First of all, in a society, especially in the UK, because when you go to America and the Caribbean and stuff like that, they love women that are bigger. But this is not to say one size or the other is better. But in a society you live in where it's not praised to be anything above a certain size, you have to find self-love. It's like you have to be in a position where someone comes and says to you, yo, you're fat, and you don't give a shit. Like someone said something and like, fat is not an insult, it's a body type.
Yeah.
And you have to own that. Like it has negative connotations because people have attached that to it, but you have to own it and be like, okay, yeah, so that's my body type. Like, you're ugly. I can lose weight. You can't change your face.
Wow.
You can't add to your height, honey. Yeah, but all
Wow.
those things aside,
I mean, for someone who says you should insult fatness, you passively aggressively insulted height and looks, didn't you, woman?
Yo, wicked.
Interesting. But before they continue, I mean, she did say that men in the Caribbeans and Americas,
but they love women that are bigger.
they love a bigger girl, don't they? They love a bigger, you know, more rounded, heftier woman. Big, broad, and heavy.
I am the table.
Bingo.
Seasoned. Now, I want men in America and from the Caribbeans to comment. Yeah, do you dudes love a bigger chick? You dudes loving, you know, a bigger woman? Or is it just some people? Because some dudes in the UK like a bigger chick as well. Now, let me put an honest point on the table. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just going to make a point right here. You know, some dudes, I don't know, they see a big chick as, I don't know, easier. I don't know why. Maybe because of her lower self-confidence. But I mean, some dudes, they like a bigger chick because she's easier to navigate, in all cases, but she's easy to navigate, get, and keep around and be around. Now, I don't know why some men do this, but yeah, some men do collect big girls. Some men do.
I want you bigger. I want you fatter. It will please me.
Again, because they're easier. However, some men that have an option to choose, they wouldn't choose a bigger girl, would they?
Nope.
Would they? They'd choose a more, I don't know, probably in shape, slimmer woman. But the interesting thing is, a lot of women have the option to choose nowadays what sort of man they want to be with. Yeah. But the reality a lot of women have to face is, it doesn't matter how independent you are, how much money you have, your degrees, your PhDs, your qualifications, whatever. If you're a big chick, the man that you want may not want you. Hence, a lot of women could be, you know, single leftover women because they don't have the shape the men that they want.
You have to love yourself, and you have to understand that this guy, a type of guy that's so worried about outside influences, because for someone to sleep with you, clearly, like, he was sexually attracted to you.
Yeah.
Especially with men. Men don't. Okay, actually, so men sleep with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say that and you caught yourself up, didn't you? Yeah. And women love to do that, delude themselves. Yeah, remember, he's a man. Women forget, yeah, he's a man. And she remembered very quickly, he's a man. Not all men, but he's a man.
For him to sleep with you, clearly he was sexually attracted to you. For you guys to even date, he was attracted to you. But he probably just started thinking in the long run, like, and people have those fears, they start thinking, oh, in the long run, like, what are people going to say when we go out to it? He would have left you for something else. If it wasn't for your weight, it would have been something else you did that he would have thought, how are people going to see me? So I just think that at this point, you need to, obviously, I hope that your mentality is more this guy ain't shit and I don't need him in my life anyways. Because you want to, because what happens when you're pregnant, like, and you put on weight because you've carried a child for this man? Is he going to turn around and say to you, like, I've seen so many of these Twitter boys, and I call you Twitter boys, turn around and say, oh yeah, like, if my wife gained weight after pregnancy, it's understandable for me to want to. And it's just like, I look at my parents. My mom doesn't look how my dad doesn't look how he looked when he was my mom doesn't look how she looked when my man. She's carried 3 of his kids, pushed 3 big-headed kids out of her, you know. Come out.
Okay, I get their point, but it's a different perspective. She's pushed out kids. If it's your wife and she's given birth to your kids, you'd understand her putting on weight, well, you should as a man. But the story you're telling, woman, he met her overweight. He met her already overweight. Now, if he were to put babies in her, would that be good? I mean, that would only add to her weight, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Yeah. So I get her point, but the example she's using is like, no. And no, I don't agree with men that, you know, they put all those babies into their wife and she puts on weight and then they don't like her anymore. I'm like, yo, bro, you got her pregnant so many times. It's like, you should expect her to put on some weight at least. Come on. So I get that point, but no, he met her overweight.
She doesn't look the same, but the way he looks at her, and sometimes he'll say to her, because they met in uni and they went to the University of Nigeria, but they went to the Enugu campus. Yes. Sometimes they go, oh, you still remind me of that girl I saw walking around the Enugu campus. And it's like, I'm not saying they have the perfect marriage. Every marriage has this has problems, but you want someone that's gonna love you, even if you got into an accident tomorrow and your face got burnt, kind of thing. You want someone that's gonna love you all throughout. So I think first of all, it has to come from self-love, like that. We all struggle with it. I struggled with it for so long, and I got to the point where it's like, yo, I'm wavy. Yeah, like, seriously, I'm wavy. Like, don't drown, honey. Like, you literally need to be like, yo, I'm wavy. Okay, he doesn't want to be with you because he doesn't like your size. Cool, you're gonna meet someone that loves you and will literally like scream from the rooftops, like, look at my queen, and put rose petals on the floor when you walk.
Really though? Really? I get her point. It's lovely to be, you know, so uplifting to, you know, fellow girly pops, including the bigger, heavier girly pops. But the point is that real? Is it real? Again, the problem a lot of women face nowadays is they have the option to choose. With a high quality, high class man, great man, put together man that a lot of these women want, he himself can afford to choose someone else. So because of that, of course, a lot of women are going to be single. They're going to be left over. They're never going to, settle down with a man. They may get some fun, of course, the women. But let's be honest, some women's biggest hindrance is her size. And I'm not even saying that to be cruel, because a lot of women want a man that they want. But it doesn't mean he wants her. And it could just be because of her size.
Right. You'll find that, but you first have to love yourself, because if you don't even love yourself, now you're locked away in your room while he's out living his best life. You need to come out, put your makeup on, put on your best wig, straighten it or curl it, whatever you need to do, and go out and be like, I'm fly, and so what? And what? Men ain't and also, like, you chased her and you dated her, and then you realized one day when you were dating her, did you not see that she was big? Like,
but even the sister, because she said his sister, she called his sister, and it was the sister that said, it's because of your size and whatever else. You, his sister, you were able to open that stinking mouth of your
Wow.
to go and repeat that. That's why you couldn't even say to me on the phone, like, you know what, my brother is a useless human being.
Okay. I get the point, but the sister was being honest. The sister was giving her the harsh, cold, blunt truth. I mean, isn't that the problem for a lot of women? They sugarcoat the truth too much. They should be honest. But I forgot, being too honest is it's misogynistic, isn't it? It means hate when it's like, no, if that's what he really actually thought, it's good for her to know that, isn't it?
And I'm so sorry that he did this to you. I'm really
even like that,
she could still be sorry and still tell the truth.
Like, I can't even imagine like spreading my brother's business.
And also, I'd be like, go and ask him.
I would say go and ask him, and then I would go to him and I'd encourage him to tell the truth. And I'd tell him that you're an idiot. Like, I don't know if you came from the same womb.
There are many men out there. It's so funny because on places like Twitter, men endlessly, boys endlessly, and men cuss fat women, as they call it, fat women. But then these fat women, as you call them, keep getting pregnant. So who's pregnant?
Something doesn't add up. And it's like, you're cussing.
Okay, all right. I mean, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, yeah. You see, a lot of men do have their fun with big chicks. Okay, not all men, a lot of men do. But in privacy, don't they? Sometimes late at night, early in the morning, weird hours, random times, don't they? But they don't want to be seen in public with her, do they? So I get the point that they're making, and it is a random point. It doesn't look good for men because it does prove that men are just... It does just reinforce the fact that men are men. But yeah, a lot of these big girls end up getting pregnant. Who's getting them pregnant, man? Who's getting them pregnant? Who? How are some of these big chicks having so many kids?
Like, guys will come and cuss all types of women. It's like, I see your baby mums.
I've seen her. Calm down. Right. And it's really sad.
Wow.
And I pray that the person who wrote in finds confidence, that kind of confidence. And people throw around the words or the term self-love, but I really hope they just find that love of everything that they touch and they are,
exactly.
and to not worry about it.
Yes, some men lie. However, weight will always be an issue for a lot of men. A lot of women's dating options would be smaller, far smaller, simply because of how big she is.
I want you fatter. It will please me.
Have a nice day.